watching by Twitter, you'll have seen there was a demo which was in one of the sessions yesterday, which was really awesome from Jim McKeeth from Embarcadero Technologies, and he was persuaded to redo that on stage right now. So you'll see our volunteer here. He's dressed up in some gear. Is that drilled into your brain, or is that? Yeah, I can see that. It looks pretty tricky. So Jim, I'll let you take it away.
All right, so my name is Jim McKeeth, and this is Chris, is going to be my victim here showing off the headset. So this is a short version of my talk from yesterday, just kind of give you the high points, and then we'll do the demo. So real quick about me, I'm a developer evangelist from Embarcadero Technologies. My claim to fame, though, is back in 2000, I invented and patented Swipe to Unlock, and then forgot about it. And then back when the Samsung-Apple lawsuit was going on, the headline pops up in my newsfeed saying, Apple doesn't own the Swipe to Unlock patent, Jim McKeeth does. And I'm like, that's me. And so I went and looked, and sure enough, I had a patent for drawing a geometric shape to authenticate yourself to a computer, and that's what Swipe to Unlock and the pattern unlock is drawing a geometric shape to say, I'm a human being. So I don't get Christmas cards or anything like that from them. They are, I'm sure, celebrating big about that. But anyway, it got licensed to Samsung. So Embarcadero Technologies, the company I work for, we make developer tools, database tools, architect tools, etc. Lots of customers, lots of companies all around the world. So Gartner did this thing here. They said if you take emerging technologies and you plot the expectations over time, you get this really nice curve, and they call this the hype cycle. And so the reason I put this in here is a lot of the technologies I'm going to talk about are on this curve here. So the orange arrow there on the left is for brain-computer interfaces, which is what Chris is modeling for us here. And then the blue arrow on the right is actually for wearable user interfaces, which is Google Glass, which he's also wearing here. And then the autonomous vehicles are the drone, and at the very top, the little star is for the Internet of Things. So it's at the peak of inflated expectations right now, according to Gartner. So these are the pieces, like I said, we're putting all together here. The headset is the Emotive Epic brain-computer interface. Google Glass is the wearable computer. He's going to give him some feedback about what's going on, and we're going to control the drone. Now, I'm not involved in the selling of any of these products, except the company I work for makes AppMethod. AppMethod is a integrated development environment that you can use to make Android, iOS, Windows apps, etc. The cool thing about it is you have this visual design surface where you can design your UI, and then that UI can adapt automatically to the apps. And so it creates native apps with a cool visual designer, and it gives you full access to all the APIs and lots of high productivity features. Okay, so the technology that's going to let me read Chris's mind, and I've already got all his credit card numbers and passwords, so I'm in good shape there, is called electroencephalography. So this actually was originally theorized back in 1875. This guy said, hey, I believe that we can pick up electrical impulses from humans' minds. I believe it's possible. And then in 1924 was the first time they actually were able to pick this up from a human being using EEG. So the way it works is the neurons in your brain, when they fire, produce slight electrical current. And some of that current propagates to your scalp. And so these little electrodes that are placed along your scalp then pick up that current, and then the fluctuations in those electrical currents give you information about what's going on inside the brain. Anybody here had an EEG before? A couple people have. I actually had one as a kid. I don't remember why. Yeah, Courtney did earlier yesterday in my presentation. But the typical process is they take sandpaper and they rub it on your skin because they get the dead skin off, and they use this electroconductive gel that's kind of messy, and they put these electrodes on you. It takes about a half an hour to go through the whole process, and then they just look at your brain for a while. So this took us about 5 minutes, maybe, yeah, to get Chris wired up here. So this is the device we're using. It's called the Emotive Epic. So this is, I believe, is the first generation consumer EEG device. It's $300, $399 actually, to buy it on emotive.com, though they have a new version coming out next month, which will connect to your Android and iOS device through Bluetooth LE. It has 14 EEG electrodes plus 2 reference electrodes to pick up information from your brain, and then it processes all that, sends it wirelessly to your computer system. And it's able to process that to pick up information about your mental state, like stress level, excitement, boredom, etc., and then also read 13 conscious thoughts. So that's what we're going to use to control the drone, is the conscious thought portion of it. And it can read facial expressions as well. Here's the Parrot AR drone. These are literally available pretty much everywhere. Brookstone in the mall carries it. When I went to get my new phone from Verizon, they're like, hey, do you want a drone to go with your phone? And I'm like, No, I'm good. I got one. Thank you. They're $300 available everywhere. They're really cool. They have a nice API that you can use to interact with them, to control them. So I've wrapped all that together into this demo we're going to do here. Now, everybody's going to pull your phones out, I know from experience, and take pictures and post them online and make Chris famous here for a few minutes. When you do, be sure and include hashtag #AppMethod, app API strat, and IoT if you would, or some combination thereof. Or if you're not using Twitter, Google+, wherever you're excited to do that. All right, Chris, you ready to go?
Ready to go.
All right, come on over here. So this is show not this the signal we're seeing here is not Chris's brain activity. It's just the kind of reception the electrodes are getting here. So let me see if I can wiggle these around a little bit. Oh, no, it's all black. All right, I'm not going to touch it. We'll just hope it's good. So this is my application I wrote here that does the processing of everything. This is going to connect to the headset and then connect to the quadcopter and send the information back and forth. And then I have another app, actually, that Chris has running on Google Glass here that I'm going to bring up here as well. So actually tap the side and say, OK, Glass, show my thoughts.
Okay, Glass, show my thoughts.
Did the app pop up?
It sure did.
OK, great. So he's going to, this display right here is what he sees on Google Glass. And so AppMethod has this really cool technology called app tethering that allows apps on different devices to be tethered in real time to share information. So that's what I'm doing is I'm going to share the information from the main app to Google Glass so that he's able to see what's going on. So that way he doesn't have to look at the screen, he can just look at the drone. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to train this to get a mental image of your brain, and then we're going to repeat those commands to control it. So the first training we're going to do is neutral. This is just to get a baseline for your brain, okay? So just neutral thoughts, no pressure at this point. Okay, so now we've got a baseline for your brain. So now we're going to train it to rotate right. So rotate right is going to cause the quadcopter to just rotate to the right. So what I found works really good is not to move, but just to think about something that you associate with rotating right. So it's important to include as much of your brain in this as possible, but the most important thing is it's reproducible.
Okay.
Okay? So whatever you can reproduce that you can associate with rotating right is what we're going to do. All right?
Gotcha.
You ready? All right, so we're training for rotate right now. Okay? So now, go ahead and think rotate right, and we'll see if this bar graph shows anything. There we go. See, it's picking up your thoughts to rotate right. That's good. That's really good. So now I'm going to tap this button here and connect to the quadcopter. And the quadcopter is going to pick up about 3 feet off the ground. Quadcopter is going to pick up about 3 feet off the ground and hover, and at that point, Chris is going to be in control and make rotate right. So if rotate right, everybody can clap and applause and cheer for Chris here. So here we go. Here it's taking off. All right, so now go ahead and think about rotating right, Chris. There we go. That's Chris right there rotating it right. All right, and so I'm going to I got controls here too, so I can keep it from running out in the audience and hurting somebody. Although it's got plastic rotors, so it's not going to kill anybody. All right, so next, would it train it for lift going up? Sound good?
Sure.
Okay. So for me, I think of either a red balloon, the image of a red balloon disappearing, or I think it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman, or I think about being on an airplane as it lifts off.
Okay.
So whatever works for you, though,
Sure.
is great. All right, so we're training now. There you go. So think lift again and see if that bar shows up for us. Okay, so, oh, there we go. It showed up. Let's do it one more time. So the more things we're trying to distinguish between, it actually gets more difficult. So it's okay we're going to do this one more time here. So we'll hit train. We're thinking lift. Okay, there we go. That's good. Nice strong lift. Now think rotate right again. See if we can do that one. Okay, that's lift. Can you do rotate right?
That was lift.
That was lift.
That was rotate right, sorry.
So it's actually, we're not only training the drone or the software to recognize the brain patterns, but training our brain to think about specific things, because our brain likes to think about lots of stuff. And so let's try rotate right again. Think about that. All right, so let's train it for rotate right. So there was a university that did this with a full clinical EEG, which had like 4 times as many electrodes. And they said it took about 40 hours to get to the point they could control a quadcopter. So we're going to do this here in a few minutes, but I think you're going to do pretty good here. So let's think about rotating right again. Okay, there we go. Good strong rotate right. Now think about lift. That's rotate right. So I found, especially like with opposites like left and right, that we think about left and then we think right. Oh, right's the opposite of left. Now all of a sudden we thought about left again. So it's important that what we think about is completely separate.
Sure, okay.
All right, so you want to train, let's train for lift again.
Can I just start with a new thought for lift?
Sure, start with a new thought for lift. All right, so lift, up, up, and away. There we go. That's a good lift. Okay, now think about rotating right. That's lift. Oh, there you go. Rotate right. Okay, let's try it. You ready to try it? Go?
I'm ready for lift, yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and lift it up a little bit and see how high if we can get it high enough. There you go. He's lifting it up. Actually, go ahead and hit the ceiling if you want to. As high as you can get it. Of course, now I put the pressure on you, right? Oh, there we go. Hey, you got to the ceiling. Okay. I'll land it now. All right, now we'll take off again, and then we'll do both, okay?
Okay.
So go ahead and bring it up a little bit. There you go. And now rotate to the right. There you go, rotate to the right. Rotate it some more. I know you're doing all the hard work at this point, but it's not wanting to do it, huh?
You remember the tilt-a-whirl at the
The tilt-a-whirl? Yeah.
I'm thinking of the tilt-a-whirl, it's not going for me.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and land it, and let's try something different. What would you like to try next? I'll let you choose.
Like in terms of like a vision or
Or
like
controlling it. How do you want to? What do you want to control it?
Forward, man.
Forward?
Forward.
All right. So that's going to be, if I remember correctly, that's push. So you're pushing. That's either forward or backward. I can't remember actually. But whatever you want to think about is fine. Okay, so you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So go ahead and start thinking about forward. All right. Oh, look at that. Good strong signal there on forward. Okay, so we'll take off, and you're going to fly forward and fly out all over the audience. So better lift first so you don't hit anybody.
Gotcha.
All right. So think lift. Oh, that's forward. You got forward down good.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to try and fly it back here. Oops. Oh, wrong button. Can you just grab that for me real quick? All right, great. So actually, I'll let you talk on the microphone here for a second about how this went for you, what you thought of this.
So obviously the training was interesting. For the rotate right, I was thinking about tilt-a-whirl. I don't know if you guys remember that from like the carnival or the circus or whatever. And so I was kind of imagining like spinning around really, really fast right. And then for the lift, I was originally trying to think of like an elevator, but I guess that wasn't a very strong emotion. So I went with the up, up, and away like you suggested. That seemed to be better. And then for forward, I was just imagining riding a bicycle, and that seemed to be pretty good.
Excellent. Great.
Maybe,
All right,
maybe we can open up for questions.
Sure, yeah, give Chris a big round of applause first, then I'll
Yeah.
give out some questions.
We're cramped for time, but we got time for one question, maybe two, if we got a quick one. Anything you guys would like to ask? No?
So for more information, you can check out this slide here, if the slides are back up there. All my code is available on GitHub. The slides from my full deck, which is an hour-long presentation, is also up there. And check out my blog, and there's the links for the products websites.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Round of applause, guys.